Hello there, this is Cindy at cindybdesigns.com. Thank you for joining me today. The card on the left is my sample, the card on the right is what we will be doing, and I'm going to teach you how to do precision punching every single time, no matter the stamp set, no matter the punch, if you want to mass produce, all of it. And what I'm showing you now is my rainbow colored umbrellas. They all look the same. They're lined up perfectly because I have my handles to the umbrellas exactly placed, as well as how I stamped the cardstock there. So those are the two images that we are going to be using under my umbrella with a punch, which also coordinates beautifully with Pretty Parasol and the March 2020 paper pumpkin kit. So we have top folding thick Whisper White A2 card. That's from the paper pumpkin kit, the background, and that is the sentiment panel that we are going to be using. Measurements, everything will be over on the blog at cindybdesigns.com, linked directly under this blog post. So all of those pieces of paper there and the upcoming, besides that, which that is thick, very vanilla, and that's going to be my umbrella template, and I'm just going to punch that out right now and get it over with. But the other pieces of cardstock that you're going to see, they are all 3 inches across by 4¼ down, and I have that for a reason. So that is how our little umbrella template is looking. And you're going to need Versamark white powder. If you still have your embossing buddy on board, definitely use that. So there's our rainbow: Highland Heather, Coastal Cabana, Granny Apple Green, Daffodil Delight, Pumpkin Pie, and Flirty Flamingo. Yeah, skip intro. I cut 2 of these just in case I messed up, because that's entirely possible and pretty much guaranteed, because that is how it goes. That is Sahara Sand, and I'm using that color to be my template. And this is why I tell you the exact measurements. If you look at the left to right, it's exactly 3 inches across. I'm doing 4¼ down, so I have like a place to pull the punch out and not have to struggle with sticky notes or anything like that. So punched everything out on the umbrella punch, and that is going to be my template. I'm marking an arrow to the very top so I know how to lay it down, because there's a couple steps here, but I mean, this is really not hard once you get it down to a science, and all you really need is like this simple formula. And it's not so much of a winging it thing like I normally do. So I have a piece of regular Whisper White cardstock, and that L shape I constantly talk about in your Stamparatus that I use for everything. This is another prime example. So I zoomed in really, really close to let you see what I'm doing here. I'm going to line up the umbrella on the bottom left and the handle, and if I could redo this all again, I would have put the top umbrella on, put the stamp in there just for some leftovers. But what I just showed you there was you have some wiggle room, and I did learn to kind of keep it in that space. It's not a lot of wiggle room, but enough. But you can feel it when you lay the stamps down, and you know exactly where to place them with that template. So once you get everything, well, feeling the right way, kind of like a Journey song. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyhow, I'm picking those images up. I'm going to ink them up with some light Flirty Flamingo ink because I don't want red stains on my stamps. I'm going to lay that down. And I know this is going slow right now, but if you look at that, you're like, oh, this is not going to work. However, once you kind of tweak the template there that you see in the Sahara Sand there on the top, and I'm coming into frame, I know that I can move that around in my punch and get it perfect, just like I'm showing you right there, and I'm totally good with that. So now I am bringing in our cardstock. messed up laying down the embossing buddy with Versamark every single time, white embossing powder, and I'm moving fast here because Versamark is a sticky ink and it will stay fresh on you for, a couple minutes or so, but you want to get everything heat set when you can. So I'm going all through of our 6 umbrellas, making sure there's no stragglers, stray embossing powder, and hopefully Peppy won't bark too much since dogs are walking by when I'm trying to do this voiceover. So now we are on the last color, putting that down, and I'm going to be bringing in my heat tool. You want to turn this on too, let it heat up real well to heat emboss everything. Keep that heat tool moving along the entire time so you don't get any warping. And then when everything's embossed, grab a Swiffer cloth to wipe off the powder. So that is the panel from July Paper Pumpkin Summer Nights. I laid that down, die cut it out with the largest stitch rectangle die. So the regular Whisper White cardstock right there that I've already stamped a sentiment onto, that is going to be 3 3/4 across by 3 inches down. And that is on Stampin' Dimensionals and how we are going to level everything. So now I'm going to whip through and just go ahead and punch, punch, punch it all out. They're all the same. They're laid down the same. I punch them out the same. That is how you get that precision stamping every single time. And it's a no-fail method. You can use this with every single one of our punches that we have on board. You can do the same for our die cuts and lay them down. And again, it is no fail here. So this is more of like a technique video than anything else. Now this is where I really want you to pay attention. The umbrella at the bottom, at the widest point across, is 1 1/4 there, as you can see, and half of that is going to be 5/8 of an inch, which is right like the line over the halfway inch mark right there as I'm pointing to, and that is 1/4 of an inch up. So that is a Tim Holtz ruler that will measure for you vertically and horizontally. I prefer to use that. And now I am marking my little, tick mark, 1/4 inch up, halfway across. And I'm taking one of our punches that expired a couple years ago with that little teeny tiny hole on there. But if you don't have it, go ahead and use your take and pick and poke it on through, and there you go. This is going to get us our perfect umbrella handles every single time. So you want to grab the top of the umbrella, make sure everything matches up perfectly, because the other side is not going to be perfect, but one side will be perfect. And then take your pencil, pen, and then, go ahead and like circle that little hole there, and that is what you look like. And I'm going to be doing that with our next color of Pumpkin Pie, and then show you how to line up the handles and how I put everything together to get the perfect placement of everything. So this precision is the key to absolutely everything and how it works out. I'm grabbing glue dots. I have a ton of them left over from, paper pumpkin kits. And this is like more convenient to me than our regular glue dots, so I can lay them down, pull the backing off when I need to. But I want to put that like right underneath our pencil mark there, because that is what I'm using as my focus to line up our umbrella handles there. The embossing is on the opposite side, so of course I want to lay down my handles the exact same way. And what I want to do, and I know this is slow, but I don't want to mess you up here, is put down that handle right in the middle towards the right, and then over on the left at the very, very top, like barely covering, but still covering the top of our little pencil mark dot there. So when I adhere all the umbrellas in the long run, at the end of the video, the handles are going to match up no matter what level that they're on. So what I've done here is to get everything together. I have taken a large Stampin' Dimensional, put it on the very top of the umbrella, and then I'm going to pull in a mini Stampin' Dimensional and put it down towards the bottom to keep that handle on, plus with the glue dot too, because that way you can like move the handle if you need to. But again, that perfect measurement thing I'm showing you right now, lining it up, I have glue dots, or not dots, but dimensionals on the back, so it gets kind of wonky there. Moving forward now, I have one dimensional on the bottom. I'm going Roy G. Biv all the way across on the top layer there, lining everything up. And before you adhere everything down, you might want to cut like an eighth of an inch off, or a little bit more to a 16th or a 32nd, so your umbrellas are spaced evenly all across while you're lining everything up. So with the Roy G. Biv, I figured out, okay, what's going on top, which is a Floaty Flamingo, Daffodil Delight, and the Coastal Cabana, and I'm going to lay them down. But with the lower bottom half with the Pumpkin Pie and the Granny Apple Green and the Highland Heather, at the top there, I'm going to double up my Stampin' Dimensionals because I am going a layer above that. Our sentiment panel has Stampin' Dimensionals on that, and I have to keep everything on the same scale. I don't want my handles flying all over the place because I'm not adhering them down. So with this row, I'm taking the left all the way over to the left, and the right not so much, more towards the Designer Series paper where that corner angle is on the right. But with the Pumpkin Pie I'm messing with right now, I want to move that down to get all my ombre umbrellas in there, and my handles lined up all the way. And you can see as I lay everything down how perfectly it lines up. My umbrella handles are, everything's even. The heat embossing on the umbrellas, the handles are heat embossed, not too much bulk, and the lower umbrellas really slide right in there because of the way that I put the dimensionals. And the green I had to leave real quick because I got a phone call I had to take, but this is the end result. Super easy to do. Keep your templates. You can do this with all of our sets with the coordinating punches without a lot of bulk. And I really hope this makes sense because I know I kind of zipped through it a little bit. But if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me at cindybdesigns.com. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I hope you guys, and please leave a comment. I hope you had a great New Year's and New Year's Day, good food and everything like that. So I will see you again next week when Celebration and our January through June catalog goes live. And I hope that you will join me. So have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you again.